Hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is a video that I've been wanting to do for quite some time, but this happened and that kind of kept me busy for a while. But I'm here now and we can talk about it. All of us who wanted to see Kong Skull Island have now seen it. And we also now know that they are lining up this King Kong to verse this Godzilla from the 2014 movie in a King Kong vs Godzilla movie, which I think pretty much everyone on the entire planet would be buying a ticket to go and see. I found it very interesting that they, right off the bat in this movie, made King Kong so much bigger than he ever has been before, because I earlier made a video about a year ago talking about this, and the number one complaint from everyone is the size difference between Kong and Godzilla. They fixed that right off the bat in this movie by making him so much bigger. But how do they explain how he got that big? Hey, look over there! That's adorable. And remember, Skull Island was set back in the 70s, and they do mention in that Kong is still growing, so by the time we get forward to like 2020 or whenever it is that they line up him versus Godzilla, they should be the same size. And after seeing King Kong handle himself in this movie, now I think that not only will he be able to hold his own against Godzilla, I think he could actually eviscerate him very easily. Here is 3 reasons why. Godzilla's get out of jail free card is his atomic breath. Whenever he's in trouble, he just blasts that off, kills his opponent, and he gets away with it. Well, that's not going to work against this King Kong. Why? Because this King Kong could survive a lake full of napalm, and he didn't die. If he can shrug off a lake full of napalm, he could definitely shrug off the atomic breath, I think. Take a look at this Muto when it gets hit by the atomic breath in the 2014 Godzilla movie. It doesn't blast a hole through him, it doesn't incinerate its flesh off or anything like that. It's basically just like a force push thing. It just pushes someone back and makes them kind of groggy. I know there are different versions of the Godzilla breath, but we're just using what's in the 2014 movie because it's going to be that version of Godzilla going up against this version of Kong. So forget all the other interpretations. But wait, I hear you saying, fictional commenter, Godzilla's atomic breath is supposed to be like the force of a nuclear explosion right in your face. Like the shockwave of an atom bomb hitting you. There's no way King Kong could survive that. Is it though? Is it really though?
If Godzilla's atomic breath is dominated by a bluish or greenish light in over 50% of the movies that he is in, I checked, then the real power of this attack is probably coming from ionizing radiation and not so much a blast wave or heat.
So really his atomic breath is more of a force push kind of action and a poisoning action. It physically weakens you so that Godzilla can get the upper hand. It's not an instant fix-all. And even if it is, he still has to hit King Kong with it. And that's going to be a problem. You look at the agility of this King Kong versus clumsy old Godzilla. It's like watching an MMA fighter versus a sumo wrestler. The MMA fighter would literally run circles around the sumo wrestler. If Godzilla gets knocked over, it's a real job for him to even get back up on his feet again. Compared to him, King Kong is like a ninja. With that kind of agility and that kind of speed, for his size, he's got a massive advantage over Godzilla. Even if Godzilla does shoot that atomic breath, if King Kong dodges it with this agility, it's going to be a long time before he recharges for his atomic breath again. So in effect, that takes the atomic breath out of the equation. King Kong would be like Bruce Lee, you know, you just can't touch him. So it doesn't matter how devastating your punch might be, you can't hit him. That's how I imagine this Kong versus Zilla fight. In the original King Kong vs Godzilla, in my opinion, King Kong actually won that battle. They leave it somewhat open-ended. They beat each other up, they fall into the water. Godzilla's never seen again, but we see King Kong rise up and then swim off into the distance. Hey, as far as I'm concerned, if he's the one swimming off in the distance, he won that fight. Of course, Godzilla did come back and all that, but that's good enough for me. Also, by the way, that movie of King Kong vs Godzilla was made directly after the original Godzilla movie, and it's the highest grossing out of all of the Japanese made films. Which just goes with what I said in my other video, they should forget about making Godzilla 2 and just make this. Follow that same pattern. Go straight to King Kong vs Godzilla, forget all the other stuff, cash in big time. But getting back to the point, King Kong in that fight is the only one who used weapons. Whether it's forcing Godzilla to have his vegetables or throwing rocks at him when he can't get close enough because of the Godzilla breath, he uses weapons. In the Skull Island movie, we saw Kong rip out the propeller of a boat and use it like a pair of brass knuckles to slice the neck open of one of the monsters he was battling. So Godzilla might be more armored, he might have claws, he might have teeth, but Kong is going to have the use of weapons. Godzilla doesn't seem to use weapons other than his atomic breath, yes I know, but we already covered that. So really when you add everything together, this fight would be a sumo wrestler with a musket, the musket being the atomic breath, versus an MMA fighter with a pair of nunchucks. Nunchucks being the weapons that he would improvise. The sumo wrestler only gets one shot with that musket, then he has to spend ages reloading. So if he misses, that MMA fighter is going to dance all around just whopping him to pieces with those nunchucks. And I just don't see how Godzilla could possibly win. But of course they probably will make him win because it is his franchise and King Kong always dies in his movies anyway. Or they might decide to keep it open-ended like the Japanese movie. But either way, I don't think we should count out the hairy 8-ball just yet. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you think it would even be a contest, and why not? Maybe they could even do a thing where Godzilla is injured for a while so King Kong has to take over being king of the monsters. Like, I'd like that, that'd be good. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I am Bandit, this is Bandit Incorporated. Until next time, I will see you guys in the comments.